back to Lessons from the Front.
Behind me is the Panzerwerfer 42 at the Overloon Military Museum.
This vehicle represents one of the more unusual pieces of German artillery from the Second World War, the Panzerwerfer 42, a half-tracked rocket launcher designed to bring devastating rocket artillery onto the battlefield with mobility and protection. The term Panzerwerfer actually refers to two related vehicles, the 15cm Panzerwerfer 42, Aust SD KFZ 4/1, built on the Opel Motier, a half-track chassis, and a later variant mounted on the Schwere Wehrmachtsschlepper, or SWS. Both carried a battery of 10 15cm rocket tubes designed to fire the same rockets used by the German Nebelwerfer artillery systems. Production of the Panzerwerfer 42 began in April 1943, after Adolf Hitler personally called for its development in early 1942. Built primarily by Opel, the vehicle used the company's rugged Motier, or the Mule, half-track platform, powered by a 3.6-litre six-cylinder engine producing about 68 horsepower. Between 1943 and 1945, around 300 Panzerwerfers were produced, alongside 289 Munition-Kraftwagen ammunition carriers, which followed behind the launchers and supplied them with rockets for sustained bombardments. In terms of size, the Panzerwerfer was a relatively compact vehicle for what it delivered on the battlefield. It measured roughly 6 meters long, 2.5 meters wide, and just over 3 meters tall, with a launcher assembly mounted. Despite its weight, it could reach speeds of around 40 kilometers per hour on roads, with an operational range of around 130 to 140 kilometers. But what made the Panzerwerfer truly distinctive was its weapon system. Capable of firing a devastating salvo in seconds, the rockets produced an unmistakable howling sound as they streaked towards their targets. A psychological weapon as much as a physical one, saturating enemy positions with high explosive. These vehicles saw action on both the Eastern and Western Front during the Second World War, where they were typically deployed in rocket artillery batteries supporting German armoured and infantry formations. In reality, the Panzerwerfer was valued less for precision and more for shock effect. A full salvo could blanket a wide area, disrupting troop concentrations, artillery positions, and defensive lines before an assault. However, like many rocket artillery systems of the era, it traded accuracy for sheer explosive power. Now, while this vehicle certainly had an impact historically, its presence on the tabletop is something I've always been slightly skeptical about. In games of Bolt Action, I've never been a huge fan of rocket artillery. The ground scale in the game, although deliberately abstracted for playability, always made these long-range systems feel a little bit out of place for me. I don't know what you guys think about that. To be fair though, the Panzerwerfer and Bolt Action does come with a minimum range of 36 inches, which reflects the reality these weapons were designed to fire from far behind their front lines. And since the ground scale in the game is compressed, weapon ranges are shortened dramatically compared to real life. So I guess it's perhaps time for me to become a little more open-minded about seeing these rocket launchers on the table. And it brings us to today's feature. A fellow member of Fireteam Elias, Nabil, recently added a beautifully painted Panzerwerfer 42 to his collection. Actually, he has two, one painted and one unpainted. The model itself was printed at Expedimix, which many of you will know if you're a friend of the channel, is one of my favorite hobby stalls here in Singapore. Nabil has done a fantastic job bringing the vehicle to life with his own hand-painted finish, and today we're going to take a closer look at it.
Okay, so guys, this is Nabil then, and he's got two models with him.
Yeah.
Do you want to just tell us a little bit about those two vehicles?
Yeah, so these are my Panzerwerfers. I bought one which is one that's not painted and one that's painted.
Yeah.
These are basically, your Nebelwerfers,
yeah,
but stuck onto a truck platform. So the truck in itself is a Motier,
yeah,
basically an Opel Blitz truck.
Yeah.
And then they just armored it, put a multi-launch rocket system at the back.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, why did you build these models?
So I was looking through like the army list on the Warlord app, and I was just looking for vehicles which we don't usually field, and this one was one which I saw which was pretty cool and relatively cheap if I want to deploy it.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it's got like a spade. That's not the hearts, the spade symbol on the side. Was that?
Oh, so the decals here I used basically was some King Tiger decals.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought it's pretty cool.
They just look cool, right?
They look cool, yeah.
Okay.
But I kind of need the ace of spades in this because to
Yeah.
hit is you're only firing indirect fire. You need to have a lot of luck because you're hitting on sixes.
Right, that's a cool
Yeah.
symbol then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that for them to range in,
Yeah.
you mentioned a 6. How does that work?
Yeah. So it works the same as other indirect firing platforms. You are ranging it on a 6.
Yeah.
And these guys actually have a rule whereby it's only a stationary firing platform. So you can only fire you can't advance and fire.
Right. So you can only give it a fire order.
Give it a fire order, yeah.
And then in order to range in, you
Yep.
always need a 6.
Always need a 6. And the fun part about these vehicles is that when it fires, it actually pins itself. So
Right.
One pin, yeah.
So if you're firing then,
Yeah.
and you're pinning yourself, that means the next turn, you got to pass the motivation test.
Yes. So for these, you definitely need your command vehicle to be close by.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't bring it today, but I actually printed a artillery spotter vehicle.
Very nice.
Yeah, to go along with this, but I just use it. I proxy it as like a 222, for example.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a chance then that after you fired,
Yeah.
so not only is it difficult to range in and do damage,
Yeah.
but if you fire and you miss,
Yeah.
so you roll a 3 or 4, whatever,
Yeah.
you give yourself a pin,
Yes.
and then there's a chance that you will go down the next turn, or if you fail the motivation, you've got to go backwards
You've got to
because
go
you're
backwards.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
really
quite
tough.
risky using it. Why then do you have it in the army?
I think it's more of one is fun factor. I mean, we don't see
It's
it
something
at all.
different, right?
Yeah, in the club, it's something different.
Yeah.
And I think so you've heard of all of the disadvantages, but if you hit the unit that you're targeting, there's a chance you can hit other units around it. So the way that it works is that you hit the unit, you draw a template around that unit, and everything else within that template also gets hit.
Right, so the splatter range is huge then.
Yeah.
What is the range of the template
I gotta
size?
check for that one, but I think you have to roll a d6 to check.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I guess I can always just fill that in on the screen. So guys, look over here. It's on the screen now. That's the splatter range of the vehicle. All right. So the disadvantage is that you need a 6 to hit. There's always a chance. You're always giving yourself. You're always pinning yourself.
Yep.
So there's a chance you're not going to use the vehicle again.
Nope.
So then the advantage you say is that if you do hit, it's massive damage.
Yeah.
Is it worth having the vehicle? Like, how expensive is this vehicle?
So actually, this vehicle's relatively cheap. You can get it at 105 points on a list. If you bring experience.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, it's 120 plus points.
You mean a regular, right?
A regular, yeah.
Yeah.
105 points for regular, 120 plus points for veteran, and 84 points for inexperienced.
Yeah.
Relatively cheap if you're playing 1,250 points. Yeah.
I'd imagine that if I brought a vehicle like this to like in my army, I would have it as a write-off. I'm not going to depend on this vehicle.
No. So actually, this vehicle, I mean, during when in real life when it was used historically, it wasn't really it's not a very accurate vehicle. It's more of a area denial. You're just flattening an entire area. And in game, because we're playing at maybe company but platoon level, all the distances are very close. So with minimum range of 36 inches, right, you're not really firing past turn 3, realistically speaking.
Right.
If the other person is going for objectives or trying to break through scenario,
right,
how many times can you fire this thing? Maybe
right.
once or twice.
Yeah.
So for me, the way that I use this is more of trying to dislodge or trying to what was the term?
Almost like force the hand of the opponent to do something.
Yes. Because at the get-go, if you already see this in line of sight, right?
Yes.
First thing is, if he hits, that's it.
Yeah.
And the one time I played this, I hit on turn 1.
Right.
So it's not an impossibility. And if I bring 3 of these,
gotta be lucky though, right?
Yeah. So if I paid like 84 points, I bring 3 of these, then you already think of I need to get out of here. Which if I bring stuff like engineers, flamethrowers, I'm already forcing you to come to me.
Right, I see. So what you do is you have it there almost like a carrot. For the enemy to. They know they can't hang back, because if they hang back, there's a chance that they're going to get hit.
Yes.
So they've got to press forward to kill that minimum range you spoke about, the 36 inches. Then you're forcing them to come forward to something they don't want to come forward to, like the flamethrowers.
Yes.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's an interesting combo. Combined arms.
So I guess you kind of see a little bit of that area denial where, okay, I know I can't stay here for very long. I need to come closer.
Yes.
So, it's throwing you off balance. That's the way I see it.
Very good. Okay, Nabil, so if anybody's interested in adding these into your list, like what platoon would you put it in?
All right, so I'll put them in an armored platoon. Okay, you have to put them in an armored platoon.
Right.
I'll get more than one. If I'm playing 1,000 points, 1,250 points, if I want to bring these, I'm going to bring more than one because of the probability and the fact that after a certain range, I can't fire anymore. So I'll bring more than one. And then, as I mentioned before, as people are coming in, I would want something a little bit more, a little bit more mid to close range. So more, what's the term? More people assault rifles. Flamethrowers will be definitely something I'll be using. And there's something which I'm exploring as well. So the German half track with the flamethrowers. Yes. So pair that with this, and I think
Got you.
I'm threatened at long range and I'm threatened at short range. It's gonna be really tough.
All right, so I can't hang back and I can't go forward. I'm screwed, right?
So that's how we'll play it. I wouldn't bring these for lower point games.
So
I think if let's say for example we play a tournament today, 150 points. Instead of bringing these, I think it's much better to bring a heavy mortar. If I'm going for indirect fire, medium mortar, you're saving points for your infantry, which I think you're gonna be needing more. So more for bigger games.
I guess too, I'm just thinking that it is mobile, it's wheeled. I mean, it's a half track.
It's track,
So there's also the opportunity of using it to gain victory points in scenarios where you got to get off the opponent's table edge. Is that like breakthrough?
Breakthrough,
Where you got to get through and you got to get units off the table. So I guess once it's done its job, then you just put head down, get to the other side of the table as fast as you can.
So it's really it's kind of cheap. You're only firing it once or twice. The rest of it you kind of stuck. You can pay for MGs on it.
Oh right, okay. So it can defend itself at close quarters then.
It can do that, but I mean it's not really meant for that. And 105 points for an MG. I'd rather put it on a Panzer Grenadier squad.
Well,
so that's the Panzerwerfer.
Thank you so much for your time, and guys, happy gaming.